Hey guys, welcome to another episode of All Bass Creations, Effects, Tutorials, Demos, and Review. So, appreciate all you guys coming on in here. Thank you. Appreciate all y'all. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Hit that hype button, subscribe, all that good stuff. So, what we got up here today, right? Let me see something. I don't want to change my settings here. What we got up here today, we got the HX1 by Line 6. That pedal there. As a matter of fact, let me switch to the pedal board view for you guys. Definitely appreciate y'all coming on in. And feel free to leave super chats, cash apps, all that good stuff. And we have the ToneX one, right? And the Zoom B6, which is down here on the floor. B6, ToneX, HX1. And we're going to be comparing four distortion pedals or preamps that they all have in common, right? So, and that would be the Dark Glass B7K, which we just listened to all three of them, but we didn't explore. What's going on, folks? I appreciate you chiming in. Appreciate you. And let me know what are some of your favorite distortion pedals in the chat. And also let me know if you have any questions about these distortions or particular effects. So we have the Dark Glass B7K up first, then we'll do the Pro Rat, and we have the Electro Harmonics Big Muff Pi and the Ibanez TS 808 which is the screamer, the green box. Now, one thing I do love about these units, they are amazingly versatile, right? But we're going to focus on the individual effects. So like the Zoom B6, the difference between the Zoom B6 and the Zoom MS-60B Plus would be that the Zoom, well, one of the biggest differences, a lot of differences. One of the biggest differences is that the Zoom B6 runs at a 24-bit, 88.2 kilohertz, while the multi-stomps are running at 24-bit, 44.1 kilohertz. And that's the sample rate, you know, so pretty much the B6 has higher quality versions of the same effects that you'll find on the MS-60B Plus. So if you like the ones on the MS-60B Plus, you'll love the ones on the B6. So first things up, let's go back to the dark glass pre on the Zoom B6. And I'm actually controlling the B6 through my iPad, which is one of the really convenient features if you have the Bluetooth dongle or thing. So you can control it without actually touching the unit as well. What's going on, folks? Appreciate you chiming in on Facebook, Kick, and YouTube, and Twitch. Appreciate all y'all. So let's check out, you know, we got a whole EQ section here, bass, low mid, high mid, treble, blend, gain, volume, boost, right? So we can choose to put the boost on low. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn this blend on 100 and bring the volume down. So now you're literally only hearing no blend of my dry bass, just the actual effect. This is my dry bass. You know, you always want to start with a good, decent sound and then go from there. Here's with it. So you can add boost to the high. Or both, boost both. So yeah, you know, it's a really, really good, you know, dark glass emulation on the Zoom B6. And of course you can drive that. Not talking to you, Siri. Not talking to you. Man, if you don't get off my screen. Oh, come on. So, yeah. What's going on, folks? Appreciate y'all chiming in and hanging out with me. Means the world to me. Feel free to list some of your favorite distortion pedals, or, also, if you have any questions about these particular distortion pedals or effects, that I'm using. Again, only thing I'm comparing today is ones that all three of them have. All three of them have way more than these, distortions in there. But these ones, all three of the units have. So on the Zoom B6, it's the dark pre. And on the ToneX one, it's they have the brand new signature bass collection. And in that collection, they include a few B7K tone models. So the deeper and lower V2 version 2 is the one I'm using for this particular application. And on the HX1, it's the Obsidian 7000. So yeah, you got a lot of tone shaping ability on this B6 one. You can bring that gain up. You blend that with your dry signal, and you can retain a lot more of your original low end in there. Yeah, we love to get into some funk. I definitely appreciate you chiming in. Definitely appreciate, we get into some funk. We love some funk around here. But, yeah, as you can see, this is a really versatile emulation of the B7K, Dark Glass B7K. So you can, if you needed more bottom, you got that. You know what I'm saying? Dig into that low mid. High mids. Highs. So, and then you can blend and, you know, go anywhere with that gain, bring the gain down and all that good stuff. And then, of course, the boost. You can always have them boost on and give you some more body. So yeah, you can get that dark glass tone from that B6, and the same thing is on the MS-60B Plus, and it doesn't sound that much different, even though the, you know, like I said, the sound quality on the Zoom B6 is greater. You know what I'm saying? Just is. You know what I'm saying? It's twice as good. So it sound, and you know, and the unit costs $500. You know, the Zoom B6 costs $500, and it has a lot of other features. 2-hour looper. You can load custom IRs at 24-bit, 192 kilohertz, which is really good quality, extremely high quality. You got some great preamps in there and amp models. And, you know, you even got things like a 1073 Neve style preamp in there, which sounds amazing, by the way. But let's keep going because we're not on that. But let's get to the ToneX one. So this one you don't have as much flexibility on the fly with, you know, like the Zoom B6, I'm controlling with my iPad, so I have complete control over it. With the ToneX stuff, you know, you're gonna definitely need to set it up beforehand, which is good though. You don't want to have to fiddle with nothing on stage, you know. But you know, and then you have a lot more flexibility within it. But I feel like the ToneX one tone models are a lot more spot on to anything I've heard from any other company at all. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you hit that like button. Don't leave me hanging like that. Hit that like button. I need you to hit that like button. Definitely helps me out. Please. So let's hear a little bit of this one. love the ToneX. I ain't gonna lie to you. The ToneX, the really cool thing about the ToneX is you have unlimited distortion pedals. You have unlimited amp models, unlimited preamp pedals, unlimited EQs, all that stuff. Anything, excuse me, that's along those lines you can model and get the saturation from, including things like this, tube amps, all that stuff. So, and if I wanted to, if I say I wanted to EQ that, I definitely could. I can add body to that. See, that's overloaded. So absolutely just a great bass sound. And no, I always use cables. Cables sound better than wireless. I always use cable, and it's stable, way more stable. So I always use a shorter cable. My main cable from my bass to my pedal board, because I got all these other cables, I use a 6-foot cable. That's just a question from somebody, folks, in case you're wondering. They were asking if I use a wireless setup or use a cable. Definitely use a cable. All right, so the next up, we got the HX1. Let's see if we can get the HX1 to grind like the other ones are. You know what I'm saying? I can't get it. Chime in if you know how to get this HX1 to grind. Somebody chime in if you use a HX Stomp or Line 6. Let me know what's going on. Cause this, I actually like the way this sounds. In general, it's not like overbearing in general, but it adds a little something. But I wanted to grind. There we go. It's acting like it ain't one cut on. I actually like this joint. I actually like this joint too. I think the HX Stomp is running at 24-bit, 96 kilohertz, if I'm not mistaken. Make sure you hit that like button. Don't leave me hanging like that, folks. I'm seeing y'all hang out. I need them like buttons at least. You know what I'm saying? It helps me so much. But and hit that hype button. You know, all that good stuff. But what's going on, folks? Everybody chiming in. Let me see what we got here. We got a few different folks. Appreciate y'all saying hi. Everybody chime in where they from and their favorite distortion pedals. Ooh, that's nice. It's got some weight to it. Oh, that's dirty, nasty. Oh, come on. Sorry, God. That joint nasty. I actually like that a lot. Like, okay, line 6. Okay, line 6. I hear you, line 6. You know, I be on line 6 behind, boy, because they don't be doing too much for us bassists. And, you know, but they want us to buy their pedals. You know, give us something specific for bass that's good. That's fire. That joint got some weight to it. And I don't even normally like to play with that heavy of a distortion, but that one sits nice. Let's get a ToneX one, some upgrade. Just sound the one on the HX Stomp just really sounds like massive. Let's see. Let's get something on this B6 to sound like that. right, so I think that's about as. That adds like it actually has like some weight to it. Like it's a weird effect because I just heard it just then. It's like it kind of has the B6. That's the B6 one. When I switch from there to here. To the B6 has a pretty open sound. The HX1 let's see how this EQ. Okay. All right, so yeah, that's one thing I really do love about the B6 in general. It just, I mean, all of these pedals, it's like a variety. Even when you have one effect, right, it's still like you're getting multiple of that. You know what I'm saying? Like if you really think about it. So like now I have, you know, I have that dark glass. It's all supposed to be the same pedal, but I got 3 different flavors of it. And more, you know, because I can have different variations of these. And like I said, with the now I will say the ToneX one version is based on whatever they EQ'd it. You know what I'm saying? It really, the tone model really does depend on how you set it up before to be EQ'd and things like that. So it's not just a thing of like the ToneX is losing this, because trust and believe, ToneX has the best amp models out of all of them. And you know, when I model things, it sounds exactly like the, you know what I'm saying, the unit. So I know that the ToneX one is very accurate. You know, the other ones might add a little beef to them to make it feel a little better. Like I said, the B6 one sounds a little bit wider, while the HX1 sounds like rock solid, like, and got some weight on it. Like it's got a nice, very nice weight to it as well. So, all right, next we have the Pro Rat. Oh, real quick, just for, you know, so you know, on the B6 there is a B3K as well. You have that effect on there as well. So let me see something. So you got that on there as well, just for a reference. And like I said, with the ToneX one, you can have unlimited amp models. It's not just that. So I want to go to the Pro Rat next. So the Pro Rat is that little black box. They call it Vermin Distortion on the HX1 and on the Zoom B6. Gonna say that real quick. On the Zoom B6. Sorry. It had like 8 distortions on at once right there. Sorry about that, folks. HX1. What's this called on here? Squawk. So on, this is Creepy Drive on the ToneX one, and it's Vermin Distortion on the HX1. On the Zoom B6 is Squeak, excuse me. Squeak. You know. Gotta love how the ToneX one just responds like so well to the, it gets the gain staging really down on the pedals. Sorry. Zoom B6. So yeah, you can do a ton with that. Oh yeah, you good. You good. Yeah, that dream that I ain't I ain't realized when I turned on that preset I had all the distortions on at once. So, but definitely appreciate y'all chiming in. The usual suspects in the house as usual. What's going on, folks? What's going on? And that's the Zoom B6. You know what I'm saying? And it's got like this. It's really just a gain, a filter, volume, and dry mix control. So just full controls with that. But the filter pretty much filters out the higher frequencies. So if you want that darker sound, if you want to just turn the filter off, if you want just no, I don't use a dark glass amp. I actually don't use. I actually use my ToneX one as my amps most of the time, and then I run that to the return or the power amp end of whatever power amp I'm using. What's going on, folks? Appreciate y'all chiming in. Feel free to chime in where you're from and your favorite distortion pedal, and all that good stuff. So, in case you're just catching us, we're going over. We got the HX1 versus the Zoom B6 versus the ToneX one. So far, we did the Dark Glass B7K on all 3 units. And now we're on the Pro Rat, and we're on the Zoom B6. But let's do some quicker comparison. Just flip back and forth between them. I'm gonna try to get them all to sound relatively similar. That's gonna be a little harder to do. So that's a little darker than this one. Bring that up. All right. So bam. Hey, yeah, I got you. I always give some type of advice. What's going on, folks? I appreciate all y'all all the usual suspects chiming in. But yeah, I definitely appreciate y'all. And shout out to the Patreon crew, all the Patreon subscribers. If you're not familiar with me, all these pedals like the Zoom B6, the MS-60B Plus, the ToneX One, or ToneX pedals, the MS-70 CDR Plus, the Future Impact, Enzo X, the C4 Synth, all those packs are available on my Patreon if you want to support there. And if you want to just support the channel, you do that $1 to $5 a month. Plus, we started channel memberships. So stuff like this, these little exclusives like this aren't going to always be available to non-members of the channel. So if you like this type of stuff, you might want to go ahead, sign up under the channel membership. I'll make sure it'll be worth your while. And I'll make sure I give you some advice on beginners. Just give me a second. I want to work through this real quick. Awesome. Yep. Cool. All right, cool. So let me flip back and forth. B6 first. Oh, just so we clear, if you already on the Patreon, you don't need to do another membership. You're gonna get all the same stuff from either membership. So I never leave my Patreon folks out like that. I don't need y'all to I don't want to have y'all paying twice for membership. So if you sign up on the Patreon, that's cool. If you sign up on the on YouTube, that's cool too. But you don't have to sign up for both. You can pick whichever you're more comfortable with. Sorry about that confusion there. ToneX 1. The HX1, let me bring this drive down some. That's pretty hot. There we go. Y'all let me know if y'all having some problem with the audio. Y'all getting some... Let me know if the audio coming through clear. Everybody good? You know, I depend on y'all to let me know because, you know, I'm doing it live. So let me know if the audio is and everything clear. Y'all getting some clicking or y'all getting some problems there? I'm not getting anything over here. That's an issue. Hopefully not. I may have to go back into, I think it's because I'm streaming to so many services. I think that's what the problem keeps becoming. So I think I might have to scale down just to 1080, 30 FPS instead of 60. And for those of you not in the video, pretty much it just... you won't really notice the difference. It's just not as smooth, you know. You won't really notice it, but it should give. Hopefully, I'll keep that in mind for the stream later. All right, let's hear them back to back to back. yeah, you can hear there that they all are usable. You know what I'm saying? It's not one of those that's not usable. And of course, you can dial those back. You can, you know, dial in the blend, the dry mix on these units as well. Even the ToneX. The ToneX, if you go into the software, you can blend in your dry bass with that in conjunction with that signal. But yeah, the main thing to keep in mind is that yes, these are emulating a pro rat, and all of them sound about the same. Like it would, you know, I would venture to say probably the ToneX one is the most natural sounding of like closest to the pedal, but the B6 and the HX1 they probably have been slightly altered to give it more body and to make it feel like better, especially that HX1. You know, it's I don't know if it's just me, but the B6 and the ToneX1 are a lot closer than the HX1. The HX1, I do like how it sounds. I like how they sound on there for real, for real. They all both of those sound amazing, to be honest. But it's like in terms of what sounds closest to the actual real thing is probably the ToneX and then the B6 and then the HX1 on that, even though I would use the HX1 joint probably the most. That joint. I mean, that joint's nice. Line 6, I actually liking these joints. I've been sleeping on these ones, these particular distortions on here. But I really do, you know, if you got the Zoom B6 joint, like I said, it ain't no slouch. Zoom B6 ain't playing with you. But yeah, the ToneX Ant Marlin definitely is better than pretty much everybody else at the moment. Like I ain't even gonna hold you. From what I've seen, you know, but stuff gets updated, stuff gets comes out, and yes, I do love the Meris Enzo X. If you look at any of my live streams, my ambient bass effects mornings, you'll see me playing plenty of Meris Enzo X on there. Absolutely one of my favorite pedals. Yeah, I mean, for these particular effects, you could technically they could be a VST or a plugin. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not carrying my computer around. Like I'm just not, and the computer is not as cool. You know, the computer. I do have like guitar rig and amplitude, ToneX all in the computer, as well as like all the stuff for Logic and all that stuff. But you know, I got plenty of effects, bass effects on my actual computer itself, including all the amp models and all that stuff. But I just prefer to have the pedals. I like the way the pedals hardware sounds with the algorithms versus my computer in the interface. And I don't know if that's weird because it's probably it's the same algorithm, literally, like the same. It was the same file rather, but for some reason when I like for instance when I play it on the ToneX one, it sounds better to me than when I play it on the computer. But it could just be placebo effect, but who knows? Yeah, I mean everybody's modeling is digital. Like you know, you're not really doing amp modeling unless it is digital. Everybody's amp modeling is digital, and nothing's wrong with digital. I don't even think about digital versus analog, to be honest. I think that is like a conversation that I don't even know why people are having. If it works and it sounds good and it feels good to you, use it, and if it doesn't, don't. You know, it's not something that you need to do either or. I use some analog. Like I have a bunch of analog preamps that's sitting on the sideline for that ToneX One because the ToneX One can do what? Carry all of them at once and sounds almost identical, well, pretty much identical. I can't even pick it out. So between the two, and I own them. So all right, EHX Big Muff. Let's see what the this is Zoom B6. One thing I do love about the B6 and the HX, these, well, at least on the B6, all of these have like a balance or a dry mix as well. My bass without anything. Bring that volume down. Tone on 100. So on this particular effect on the Zoom B6, you only have a sustain, tone, balance, and volume. You can add more than 100% sustain. No sustain. Zero tone. Not my favorite. Not my favorite. I ain't gonna lie on that one. This is not my favorite. Oh yeah, the future, definitely the future of the amp models. I mean, in the future, I would say definitely get into the amp modelers because they're gonna allow you to constantly read, get new sounds, get new amps and things quite frankly, tones you'd never be able to get your hands on even with these units like the Zoom B6 or the HX Stomp or the Helix. They're simply not going to model all of these amps and stuff that you may want or that the ToneX community or like the Neuro DSP community collectively puts together. You know what I'm saying? Because I know just myself, I have 11 different preamp packs on Patreon. Now, I ain't freeze. I just wanted you to think about that. You can get them anytime you want. But, I got 11 different of them, and I'm going to come out with more things like pretty much my combination preamp packs for the ToneX, which is the color box running into different things like the the Gensler Magellan, Ampeg, SGT, Aguilar, AG, all that stuff in combination with the color box. So, yeah, you get nasty with it, with the modeling stuff. And the ToneX means you also have unlimited distortion pedals. You're not stuck with the ones in whatever unit. ToneX can model all the distortions and all that stuff. And it's a lot of them I already have, can be done very quickly. So, all right. We have up the ToneX one, doing the EHX Big Muff High. Then we have the HX1, and the HX1 has the, what is this? Got the triangle, it's got the dark, what is this, the height in there? What is it? Let me see. It's the big horn. You also got the triangle. I would say by far this is definitely not my favorite distortion on any unit. Like, it's just, for me, it's I don't really like my distortion and overdrive to sound like that. Like, that just sounds completely blown out, you know what I'm saying? But, oh man, what did I just do? right, so I like this Dark Dove, and the Dark Dove is just a different it's got like a modded preamp in it or something. I actually like that. That's pretty cool. I actually like that one. So that one is the Dark Dove on the HX1. So I'm gonna just flip back between the three. So start with the HX1 because I'm already there. ToneX 1. Zoom B6. So yeah, those are the three. You know, and they all like different flavors. Like for real, like even though the HX1 has 3 different variations of it, all 3 are different flavors of it. So it just one of the things I can't stress enough is to just keep an open mind when you're you know messing around with pedals or doing anything of this nature. Just keep that open mind. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? It's all music, and it all comes from you anyway. So, you know, don't get caught up on the brands and needing this or that. Go and try out some different stuff. So next up, last one we're gonna do is the Ibanez TS808. Now I'm gonna come back and do some other comparisons between comparison videos. Like I'll be doing a Source Audio Atlas compressor versus the HX Stomp and the Zoom B6. Like HX1 has a LA2A compressor on it, and the B6 has a limit 1176 limiter on it. So I just want to compare those algorithms to each other. But yeah, we rocking out. Make sure you hit that like button if you haven't already. It definitely helps me out. You'd be surprised. And like I said, don't forget that we got the channel memberships now. If you're already a member on Patreon, you do not need to have 2 memberships. You will get the same thing. It's just I wanted to make it more convenient for the people already on YouTube that already, that's more comfortable, so that they have a way to get to the members only material. Things like this will be in the members only material. You feel me? So I'm be going extensively through like comparisons and back to back, spending some real time digging into these different units and different brands, stuff, So we got on the HX1, it's called Scream 808. So let's find that. Scream 808 on there. And what I got is, I'm going to use this on a ToneX, the TS808 Dark Low, which is a tone model that I got off of, that comes with the ToneX. Matter of fact, let me just make sure that's the right one, because I hate when I get those confused. All right, it should be the yellow. And so now we got them all queued up, and on the Zoom B6, it's the Bass TS drive. Now, no, I don't have a real one to compare it to. For me, I played a real one. My uncle is a guitarist, on the side. And he used to have like the Boss pedals, the little purple flanger joint. He used to have like the Ibanez tube screamer. So I know exactly what that sound is, you know what I'm saying? In general, I kind of grew up listening to it. But yeah, I don't have unfortunately don't have a real one to compare it to. So we're gonna start off with the E6, and we're gonna, for the sake of this, we're gonna have the blend all the way up. I don't know why this effect is so quiet in particular. What's going on, folks? Appreciate you chiming in. Feel free to chime in if you're just joining us, you know what I'm saying? This is the, this is a great time to ask questions about what we're doing, you know what I'm saying? In particular, try to keep it on topic, but feel free to chime in and say, where you're from and what's your favorite distortion pedal. If you got any questions about these units or these effects, the distortion effects we're going over, just let me know and I'll try to do my best to get to it. So I don't really, yeah, that's about right. It never really added too much to your sound like that. ToneX 1. I feel like this one, I feel like that's spot on. Yeah, I actually like that one a lot. Like, that's actually fire. That's actually pretty close as well, but the ToneX 1 is spot on. And thanks, I appreciate that. You know, I love my pedal board. It's my baby right here. It's ever changing, but I love it nonetheless. ToneX 1. Dirty. Zoom B6. So the B6 one is the thinnest out of those. Yeah, the rabbit sitar is amazing. It's amazing. Definitely is worth having. I'm not going to say you're going to use it on every song, but when you use it, there's nothing else that sounds like it. So, you know, I look for pedals like that, even if I'm not going to use them every day. Stuff that's very usable and gets me to different territories at times, like the rabbit sitar V256 vocoder. I use those. You know, I love them. So don't hesitate on the rabbit sitar at all. Yeah, the ToneX keeps the clarity up top, and I feel like it gives you more bottom on this particular setting. Now, I will say the B6 gives you two versions of this. It gives you the bass TS drive, and it gives you the TS plus boost. Now, this is where you get your money out of that thing on the B6. That more. Sorry. You even got some compression on this. Turn this compression off. Compressor. You got a bass and a treble knob on this one. As well as a tone knob. You can change the order of the boost going into the TS 808 or other way around. TS 808 run into the booster. I like the clarity of this one. Plus you can add some bottom there. Turn that boost off. Matter of fact, bring this gain down. Bring the boost down. No boost. Gain. getting similar results with them. That's really just bringing it up. Yeah, that order makes a huge difference. So this, this gives you some different options here. You gotta watch the volume. And this is why I do love the B6. It kind of gives you a lot of little options like that where you'll find all these different, very different things in there. So bass by itself, TS plus boost on the B6 versus ToneX 1. HX1. Let me get that to beat up some. D6. Definitely need that tone open way more. Bring some of the treble back in. So I like all of these sounds actually, but the winner on this one is the ToneX 1. So for me, this is just my synopsis. So we did the Dark Glass B7K. The winner of that category is the HX1, right? The Obsidian 7000 definitely won that. Then we have the Pro Rat, right, which was on the HX1, the Vermin Distortion, the Zoom B6, the Squeak, and the ToneX 1 Creepy Drive. I would say, for me, the HX1 won that one as well. Then on the Big Muff, I don't really like any of them. I ain't gonna lie to you. I didn't like none of them. But I did think the Dark Dove on the HX1 was the least offensive out of those. And on the two, on the Ibanez TS-808 Screamer, on the HX1, it's the Scream 808. Zoom B6 has the bass TS drive and the TS plus boost. And on the ToneX 1, I use the TS-808 Dark Low, and the ToneX 1 as well. So, now, is there other distortions in the Zoom V6 that I like more? Because the Zoom V6 pretty much lost all these categories of these four distortions. But trust and believe, that Blueberry overdrive in here is very nice. Like, that's my favorite overdrive to use on a lot of different stuff, is the Blueberry overdrive on the Zoom V6. So, that's couldn't be included in this because it's not one of those four pedals that all three effects. It's not one of the effects that all three pedals has. So I'm ultimately the HX1, the Obsidian 7000, and the Vermin Distortion I was very impressed with. You know what I'm saying? And I was very impressed with the TS 808 Dark Low on the ToneX One. So, you definitely each pedal has its own thing. ToneX One, I don't use the ToneX One or the HX One for distortion at all. I primarily use the Zoom pedals for distortion or overdrive, because I like that Blueberry overdrive on there. But I like that the most out of all the distortions. I didn't include source audio in this because theirs doesn't specifically tell you what they're modeling. These ones said, bam, we modeling this, and this. So I would say the overall winner today got 2 out of 4 is the HX1, and the Zoom V6 didn't win any categories. Hold on. Did it? No, it didn't. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, no. HX1 actually won 3 categories because even on the Big Muff, the EHX Big Muff Pie, I like the Dark Dove on the HX1. So the Dark Dove on HX1 for the Big Muff, the Vermin Distortion for the Pro Rat on the HX1, and the Obsidian 7000 for the Dark Glass B7K on the HX1. And then, again, the TS 808 Dark Low on the ToneX One. So that's my, verdict for today. As you heard, I tried to give them all a fair chance. I spent an hour and a half with them. I try to give effects a chance to grow on me or to hit me. Like you saw at certain points, I couldn't help but to go ahead and just play for a little bit, because when I hit like that Obsidian 7000 on the HX1, that joint was nice and thick. The same thing when I got to the TS 808 on the ToneX One. It just, when I got to it, it just got thick. You know what I'm saying? It just, so that's what I look for in effects. I don't look for analog, digital, or this or that. I look for, does it really make me want to play? Like, does it make me stop in my tracks and want to just play because I like the sound or the way it makes me, my instrument, feel when I'm playing through it? I'm looking for that. I'm not looking for a brand. I'm not looking for anything that don't have to do with the actual sound and creativity of music in that way. I'm not endorsed with any of these companies, at the moment. Not saying I won't be. Now, I will, for disclosure, IK Multimedia, who makes ToneX One, did send me the Signature Bass collection. And, I have been, like, I used a couple of those presets in today, but I actually used 3 of them, if I'm not mistaken. I used 3 of their ones from their new Signature Bass collection. And if you're going to get a ToneX One or a ToneX, get the Signature Bass Series collection, and it'll come with all the amps and a lot of other little goodies that'll be really nice surprise for you. So I would highly recommend grabbing the ToneX One Signature Bass collection. But man, that the HX1 definitely surprised me today. I'm not gonna lie to you. The HX1 surprised the heck out of me today, comparing them back to back like that and the way they sound. So, but the ToneX One, amp models is just above everybody else. You know what I'm saying, in general. And you can always model more with a ToneX pedal and software. You can always model new distortions with the HX1 and the Zoom B6, you're stuck with whatever Zoom and Line 6 want to give you with the updates or what it already has on it. So, that's some other factors to take into consideration for today, and how are you really going to use the pedal? I don't use the ToneX one as a distortion pedal anyway. Primarily, I use it as a preamp, and I use the HX1 primarily for delays and reverbs, maybe one modulation. And the Zoom B6, and the MS-60B Plus, I primarily use for the overdrives, stuff like that. So, and the preamps, the overdrive preamps in there, like the clear drive in there is insane. Zoom's clear drive effect, that is one of my absolute favorite distortions. Like, I'll cover that another time. But yeah, let me know in the comments and all that good stuff. Which one was your favorite? Which one did you like? Did you feel like I gave the right scorecard with this one, or you feel like I was kind of, because I'm not even a huge Line 6 effects fan like that. And they definitely surprised me. They definitely won me over today. So I definitely appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Make sure you sign up for the membership on here, so you can keep up with stuff like this. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe, hit that hype button. And if you want to help a brother out, hit that Cash App Super Chat. I definitely would greatly appreciate it. And I do take the money I get from that and I put it back into buying new pedals and get new reviews that I can give you unbiased reviews and demos and tutorials on that, aren't compelled to have to be something that's not. If it is great, I'm going to say it's great. I already been telling y'all since the ToneX one came out, that's fire. Get you one. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with the Zoom pedal. So, definitely check all that stuff out. Head over to my Patreon if you want any of my presets for different pedals, for the Zoom pedals, Zoom B6, MS-60B Plus, MS-70 CDR Plus, the Future Impact V4, the Meris Enzo X, C4 synth by Source Audio, and 11 different preamp packs for the ToneX one on ToneX series pedals and software. So check all that stuff out. I definitely appreciate you hanging with me. It means the world to me. You guys will spend time with me as usual. Now, as usual, I want you guys to understand something. You can be the greatest of all time. You can be the best in the world. I don't know if anybody ever told you, but you can be the best. You don't have to be second best. You ain't got to think of yourself as second best. You ain't got to make yourself feel like second best to make others feel good either. So make sure that you are giving your best foot forward and you are putting your best efforts forward, because you never know who you could turn out to be. And don't be afraid to help somebody along the way, because you never know who they can turn out to be. And, the world works that way. So remember to stay encouraged, be confident, be kind, be nice to each other. And, when you got to, handle your business, you know what I'm saying? But try to be as not gentle, but try to be as nice of a person as possible to others, because it'll make somebody else's day. All right, y'all have a good one. Be safe out there. See you guys later on. Sometime after 4 today, I'll be back doing some more stuff like this. And if you like it, hit that notification bell. It'll let you know when I'll be back later on. All right, you guys have a great day. Peace.